Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes as I redesign and try to modernize some real packaging I found laying around my house. You'll see the full design process, a few packaging mistakes to avoid, and how I use 3D mockups to test if the packaging design actually works. Hi, I'm Laia. I'm a brand designer and strategist, and I simplify branding for purpose-led founders and ambitious creatives. Welcome to my channel. I recently went on vacation to China, and I felt so inspired all the time because the Asian brand just nailed the aesthetic and clean, minimal packaging. So since that's a style I really like, today I'm redesigning 3 packaging designs that I found from objects laying around my house. But before we jump into designing, I want to say a huge thank you to Pacdora for partnering with me on this video. If you've been here a while, you already know that I love this tool. It's what I use to mock up packaging fast with 3D visuals that look amazing and with zero technical skills required. The first packaging design I'm gonna redesign is this bottle of milk. I feel like this design is on the verge of breaking one of the packaging design rules, which is to not overcomplicate it. Some brands try and say so much on the front and the back of the design that they end up filling it with a lot of design elements, a lot of colors, different fonts, different drawings, and that can be very confusing and very overwhelming for the consumer. So you should always focus on hierarchy. Design what's the one message that you really want to get across, and then design from there. So I want to take a 180 on this bottle of milk, and I'm gonna design it so it's very appealing for Gen Z, very bold, yet very clean. Okay, let's go. When thinking about a design concept for this that could be bold and different from other milk bottles, because they're honestly pretty much all the same, the idea of abstract shapes came into mind. Mainly for 2 reasons, one being the liquid nature of milk, and second, the pattern of the cow, which is very recognizable and instantly makes consumers think of milk. So I'm thinking we could create a typeface that mimics that. We really can't design a real object without the measurements or the guidelines, so I'm gonna go to Pacdora and look for a bottle of milk that I like and then download the guidelines. Okay, so let's find a mockup that we like. I'm just gonna log into Pacdora. Okay, so I really like this one because it's kind of round, kind of not, so it feels a bit more elevated. Now I'm gonna download the guidelines and import them into Adobe. It's honestly pretty easy. You just need to click here and then guidelines and then export. So you can choose like if you want to export it in Adobe Illustrator, PDF or DXF. I'm gonna choose Adobe because I'm gonna be editing on there. And here is where Pacdora is really cool because you can actually personalize all of the measurements, and you also have a lot of videos and a lot of like mock-up versions of the same product, so it's really cool if you want to, I don't know, if you're creating a portfolio or something. That's a very useful resource. I'm gonna put this like so. Hopefully you can hear me correctly. Taking the horrible sketch I created, I'm gonna image trace this and I'm gonna modify it directly in Adobe. So I'm thinking we could mix these 2 letters so it looks like when you pour milk, so it's like going down. Okay, so I really like how this turned out actually. And then for the actual design, I'm gonna add an offset path here and I'm gonna modify it so it looks like a bit spot, like the cow spot, and it blends with the design a bit better. And I also really like the W and the M together, so I'm probably gonna save that and put it on the other side of the carton to keep like the design a bit more interesting. I'm also adding all of the important information in a sans serif font to balance the design, and then the logo, which I simplified a lot, but I just took out all of the mountains in the logo and just left the name of the brand. So now I'm gonna add the nutrition facts and all of the more like boring information. So I think that here is where the W and the M could look very nice. So I'm gonna try it and I'll see what it looks like. So I'm just gonna try and adjust this. Okay, very nice. I actually really like this. For the mockup, it's also very simple to do. You literally just upload this here. You add your image and then you resize it. So hold on. Okay, so now that it's resized, you just save it and voila. I really like this, and it actually took 2 minutes to make, so I'm eternally grateful for tools like Pacdora, which allow us designers to make such beautiful things in little time. Moving into the second object is this lovely yogi tea. I only have good things to say about their website and their branding, however, I feel like they could have a more clean aesthetic for the packaging. So another packaging design rule is to always think about the customer journey. Some brands think about the customer journey in a very flat way, so they end up designing something that looks completely similar to other competitors. So if the product is not different from competitors, the consumer just ends up choosing based on price or brand recognition, which if you're a new brand, that's very bad for you. Tea brands usually feature a cup of tea as their image, so I'm gonna remove that, which will instantly make it very different from other brands, and I'm gonna add a minimal drawing of the plant or flower, in this case lavender. I'm also thinking of incorporating some sort of gradient, because when you put the tea bag in the water, it usually creates a gradient or like an abstract shape with the water, so I think it could be a nice notch to that. So I'm gonna use a sans serif font, which is usually associated with more high-end or luxury branding. I'm just gonna write all of the necessary information and then eliminate some of these texts that are really not saying anything or giving me any more valuable information. I'm also gonna import the drawing I created in Procreate for the lavender plant and image trace it to refine it in Illustrator, so the lines are a bit more delicate and more round. Since we have a very geometric font, I'm thinking I want something more natural and organic for the drawing. I feel like that could add a nice balance. Okay, so now I'm gonna try and add the gradient or some texture maybe. I'm not sure if it's gonna be less readable, so we'll see about that. Really not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. Okay, let me do a couple of tests and I'll get back to you. Alright, so this is the final result. It's not my best work. Oh, and I also designed the bags to mimic like the box's aesthetic. I'm really pleased with the bags. The box, not so much. The bags I really like. Let's see how it looks once it's adjusted. Let me do that. A second. Okay, I actually really like it, so let me know what you think. Final design is gonna be oregano. I feel like spices don't have cute packaging at all, or at least here in Barcelona, so I always see people buying them and then just putting the leaves inside some other container that looks more aesthetic to display in their kitchens. So I want to create something that feels modern and that people could put on their kitchen counters and it looks nice. While I sketch this out to get an idea, I want to tell you the third packaging design mistake, which is not taking into consideration the shelf impact. Some brands design for the screen, not for the shelf, and what happens with that is that the packaging looks great zoomed in, but it might be unreadable or invisible in real life. So my tip would be to use mockups or software like Pacdora to test how the design reads at a distance in 3D and surrounded by competitors. And if you can, something that I also do is print the design on a piece of paper so you can see it in person and make sure it's legible. I'm gonna jump into Pacdora again to find the die lines for our design. I actually really like this one. It's a bit lower and more compact, or compact, not sure the pronunciation on that, but I actually really like it. I feel like it looks a bit more luxurious and a bit more classy. Let's again click here to export the die lines. So with the sketch, it's time for Adobe Illustrator to do its magic. Things that we need to include are the name of the spice, the weight, what else? Oh, I'm thinking of adding like a number. So it's like a little connection of spices, and you can have like number 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then obviously we need the logo, which I'm gonna create a simpler version. Oh no, and then we need the dates before you need to eat it. The like preferred consumption, I think it's called in English, I don't know. Since the bottle is gonna be glass and you're gonna be able to see inside, I don't think that putting the image of leaves of oregano is really necessary. So since my neighbor decided to have a party. Okay, instead I think I'm gonna create like a sticker or a badge that shows the ingredient is like 100% organic or 100% natural. So I'm gonna do that using 3 leaves, and I think it adds personality and a pop of color to the packaging. So yeah, I actually really like it. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. Couple of tries, and this is what I came up with. I really like it, and I would actually put it on my kitchen, so I feel like that's a good indicator for it. It's very simple, but again, it's, you know, inspired by that more clean and more minimal Asian aesthetic, so I feel like it fits the brief. Jokes aside, I exported it into Pacdora, I mocked it up. And this is what the final result would look like. Not bad for my first jar packaging design. So that's the end of the video. Thanks again to Pacdora for collaborating with me on this video. You already know I use this tool a lot, and I recommend it to anyone because it's extremely easy to use and it gets you professional results without needing any technical skills. So if you want to try it for yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur or a designer, be sure to use code LAIA20 at checkout to get 20% off. If you're a business owner and you need help with your visual identity or your packaging, I'd love to help and work together. So please inquire through the forms in my website linked down below. And if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!